A very important thing when it comes to leadership is to take ownership and to take responsibility. If I were to go down the route of thinking about responsibility like Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he says that grammatically it's not correct, but if you were to take the word responsibility and you break it up into 2, you get response and ability. The ability to respond the way you choose. And responsibility is imperative for you and I when we want to be the leaders that we are born to be. To take responsibility, to engage with the process. A leader cannot be a leader without taking ownership. Now this statement ties into what I've just said, coming from Albert Einstein, that says whenever I think the problem is out there, that thought is the problem. Whenever I think the problem is out there, the problem is not the way I think, that thinking is the problem. You see, we've got 2 circles. If we were to draw a rather tight, small circle around ourselves, we might call that the circle of influence. And if we were to draw a much larger circle around ourselves, we might call that the circle of concern. In the circle of influence, the place where you and I can exert the leadership that we have the power to do. Some influence. And usually it's at work, it's at home, it's with the people closest to you. In your larger circle of concern, there are many things that concern you and I. I can just think, if you read the news, and I've watched the news the past week, there are many topics out there that concern you and I. But you and I have got no influence over that. We can do nothing about that. Maybe pray. Maybe if you've got connections, talk to the right people. But in essence, you and I don't have a lot of influence in our circle of concern, although all of those things concern us. But it means you and I need to step back here, where we are right now, right here. And in our circle of influence, we need to exert the influence that we have the potential and the privilege to do. We live here. The only real moment that we live is now. If we can break up time in its 3 primary modes, we've got the past, we've got the now, or the present, and we've got the future. And all of them are important. But I think the one that gives us the most possibility to experience it is the now. The past we can think about, and we have it in our minds, but that's the only place where the past really lives. The future, same. And I'm not making it small. It's important for us to project ourselves into the future to create the vision that we need. But the future in itself is only a place that we can enter and live in our thinking. The here and the now is the only true reality that we can experience fully with all of our senses. I can see you now. I don't have just to think about you. I can hear you now. I can touch you now. It becomes very important to understand, whenever I think the problem is out there, that thought is the problem. Because maybe that lies in my circle of concern. And about that I can't do anything. But I can change the way that I think about it. You and I can change the way that we think about things that lie in the circle of concern. Our paradigms can shift. We can change.